Sonora, officially free and sovereign state of Sonora, is one of 32 states which comprise the federal entities of Mexico. It is divided into 72 municipalities. The capital city is Hermosillo. Sonora is bordered by the states of Chihuahua to the east, Baja California to the northwest and Sinaloa to the south. To the north, it shares the US-Mexico border primarily with the state of Arizona with a small length with New Mexico, and on the west has a significant share of the coastline of the Gulf of California. Sonora's natural geography is divided into three parts: the Sierra Madre Occidental in the east of the state, plains and rolling hills in the center, and the coast on the Gulf of California. It is primarily arid or semi-arid deserts and grasslands, with only the highest elevations having sufficient rainfall to support other types of vegetation. Sonora is home to 8 indigenous peoples, including the Mayo, the O'odham, the Yaqui, and Seri. The state has been economically important for its agriculture, livestock, and mining since the colonial period, and for its status as a border state since the Mexican-American War. With the Gadsden Purchase, Sonora lost more than a quarter of its territory. From the 20th century to the present, industry, tourism, and agribusiness have dominated the economy, attracting migration from other parts of Mexico. Several theories exist as to the origin of the name, Sonora. One theory states that the name was derived from Nuestra Señora, the name given to the territory when Diego de Guzman crossed the Yaqui River on the day of Nuestra Señora del Rosario, which falls on October 7, with the pronunciation possibly changing because none of the indigenous languages of the area have the N sound. Another theory states that Alvar Núñez Cabeza de Vaca and his companions, who had wrecked off the Florida coast and made their way across the continent, were forced to cross the arid state from north to south, carrying an image of Nuestra Señora de las Angustias on a cloth. They encountered the Opta, who could not pronounce Señora, instead saying Señora or Sonora. A third theory, written by Father Cristobal de Cans in 1730, states that the name comes from the word for a natural water well, sono, which the Spaniards eventually modified to Sonora. The first record of the name Sonora comes from explorer Francisco Vázquez de Coronado, who passed through the state in 1540 and called part of the area the Valle de la Sonora. Francisco de Ibarra also traveled through the area in 1567 and referred to the valles de Señora. The literal meaning of Sonora in Spanish is a feminine form of the adjective sonora, meaning sonorous or loud. Evidence of human existence in the state dates back over 10,000 years, with some of the best-known remains at the San Dieguito complex in the El Pinacate Desert. The first humans were nomadic hunter-gatherers who used tools made from stones, seashells, and wood. During much of the prehistoric period, the environmental conditions were less severe than they are today, with similar but more dense vegetation spread over a wider area. The oldest Clovis culture site in North America is believed to be El Fin del Mundo in northwestern Sonora. It was discovered during a 2007 survey. It features occupation dating around 13,390 calibrated years BP. In 2011, remains of Gomfor there were found. The evidence suggests that humans did in fact kill 2 of them here. Agriculture first appeared around 400 BCE and 200 CE in the river valleys. Remains of ceramics have been found dating from 750 CE with diversification from 800 and 1300 CE. Between 1100 and 1350, the region had socially complex small villages with well-developed trade networks. The lowland Central Coast, however, seems never truly to have adopted agriculture, because Sonora and much of the Northwest does not share many of the cultural traits of that area. It is not considered part of Mesoamerica, though evidence exists of trade between the peoples of Sonora and Mesoamerica. Guasave in Sinaloa is the most northwesterly point considered Mesoamerican. 3 archaeological cultures developed in the low, flat areas of the state near the coast: the Trincheras tradition, the Huatabampo tradition, and the Central Coast tradition. The Trincheras tradition is dated to between 750 and 1450 CE and mostly known from sites in The Alta, Magdalena, and Concepcion valleys, but its range extended from the Gulf of California into northern Sonora. The tradition is named after trenches found in a number of sites, the best known of which is the Cerro de Trincheras. The Watabampo tradition is centered south of the Trincheras along the coast, with sites along extinct lagoons, estuaries, and river valleys. This tradition has a distinctive ceramic complex. Watabampo culture shows similarities with the Chamatla to the south and the Hohokam to the north. This probably ended around 1000 CE. Unlike the other two traditions, the central COAS